Okay, we're live?
Yeah.
All right, so we have reached 7-2, which is about the probability of either and two events happening. So either one thing or one thing and another thing, so about two things. So I've got help today from cinematographer Arlene. Say hi, Arlene.
Hi.
Thank you very much. Okay, so our scenario here is a lot like in your homework. There are two things that are happening. We've got a spinner with a little arrow that will point to a certain number, and it'll fall in either 1, 2, 3, or 4, or our normal die, which has 1 through 6. So I've done a little arrangement here with the spinner outcomes, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the die outcomes, 1 through 6. So there's 6 this way, 4 that way. Our sample space has a total of 24 different things that can happen. So I can get a 1 and a 3. That's the spinner with a 1 and the die with a 3. And that's different than the 3 and the 1 down here. So the question is, what's the probability of two things happening, one or the other? So just to review, probability is defined as being the number of favorable outcomes, the things that we're interested in, over the total number of things. So a little refresher question here. What's the probability of the spinner showing a 1? Well, there is one favorable outcome out of a total of 4. So the probability of spinning a 1, if it's a fair spinner, is simply 1 out of 4. So we'd write it like this, 1 out of 4. Or you could write it as 25%. Or you could write it as 0.25, but that's all the same thing. Okay? So again, with the die, what's the chance of rolling a die? Well, if you've been playing Monopoly for a while or whatever, you know it's 1 out of 6. One of the numbers out of a total of 6. So that's all pretty easy. But the homework will ask you questions like, what's the probability of rolling a 1 on either the spinner or the die? What's the chance of having there be a 1 in either of them? Not both of them, but just one or the other, okay? And what do you do with the probability? Well, the way we look at it is if we look at the whole sample space, how many of these squares have 1s in them? And I've blocked those out. That is this 6 here, and then these 4 here, but I don't want to count this one twice because there's a total of 6 plus 3, a total of 9 of these squares out of a total of 24. So the answer here is 9 out of 24. Okay? Well, the way we can think about this mathematically, so we don't have to draw this sample space every time, is we write down that it's the probability of, we'll say, A or B. That's going to be equal to the probability of A plus the probability of B. But then we have to subtract this space where both things happen because we don't want to count that twice. And so that's the probability minus, I'll write it down here, the probability of A and B happening. Okay, and that gets us to our other word for the day. When we say and, that means both things happen at once. And so in that case, the probability of A and B happening is when we have the two of them happening together, and we look at, that's only one square out of a total of 24. So in this case, the probability of A happening would be 1 out of, if A is my spinner, 1 out of 4, plus then 1 out of 6, and then minus 1 out of 24. If you do your fractions, you will see that it in fact is 9 out of 24. It's going to be 6 24ths plus 4 24ths minus 1 24 will be 10 minus 1 is 9. Okay? So that's how you do the homework. Good luck.